Hello, and welcome to Let's Talk Spoop. I'm your host, Don, and today, as promised, we're going to talk about Fear Street Part 2, 1978, again on Netflix. For those of you who didn't watch my previous one, Fear Street is a book series that was written by R.L. Stine, optioned into a movie series on Netflix. You hear R.L. Stine, you would assume safe for children. These are not safe for children. No nudity, but there is plenty of violence, swearing, that sort of thing. So, unless you normally allow your children to watch horror movies, I would not recommend this movie for children. Other than that, we're going to go ahead and jump on in. So, as per usual, on Let's Talk Spoop, we break things down into 6 separate categories. Those 6 separate categories are story, acting, music, atmosphere, look, and creep. So, without further ado, let's jump into Fear Street Part 2, 1978. So, the story opens essentially where the last one left off, so I don't want to give away any spoilers here, but it opens with a lady who is watching the news report about what happened in the previous movie, right? She has a super secure house, but she missed one lock. And of course, Dina and Josh managed to break into her house through the one lock that she missed on one window. It turns out that this woman that it opened up with is a survivor from a previous attack by Sarah Fear, the witch. And then we get a cut to the backstory. So we get this redheaded girl who's running through the woods, whose name's Ziggy, which is a great name, who apparently stole money from one of the other girls, and they call her a witch, and it's kind of classic camp shenanigans for a horror film, right? There is... Yeah, I forgot to mention that there is like some pretty... There's no nudity, but there is like some pretty gratuitous like sex scenes in this. The nurse is a little nuts, and she goes crazy, I guess. Tries to attack one of the camp counselors, and it's obviously a setup for the actual like slasher film part of it. And it's essentially these are counselors who think they figured out what was going on back in 1978, which is, 16 years before the first movie, and them trying to stop it, right? This one, the story had a little bit more twists and turns, a little bit more involved, a little bit more original than part 1. So 4 out of 5 for story. Acting, I honestly think the acting might have been a little bit better than the first one. So for acting, 4 out of 5. But it maybe should have been better. Higher. But I gave it 4 on the last one. So 4 out of 5. For music, it's classic 70s music. Again, I love it. I love when movies take place, in the past, and they use music from that time to really set the atmosphere and the mood. It just makes me really happy. So 4 out of 5 for music. Atmosphere, there's lots of work on building that classic like summer camp slasher feel. They did a great job on that. 4 out of 5 for the atmosphere. I absolutely love the build up on this. Look, it's gory. This one is way more gory and bloody and gross than the previous film. If anything, the special effects, they put more work into them because there's just some violence in this, and it's great. So 3 out of 5 for look. Ruby, we'll move on to creep now. So Ruby singing is still super creepy. There's a couple good jumps in this one, which the previous one did not have. And there's just violent, really uncomfortable to watch deaths. They don't kill any kids, but they do like show the kids, show the slasher, and then somebody will come in later and there's blood and gore and body parts everywhere. So the creepiness was good, but not too creepy. Like I didn't have any trouble sleeping after I watched this. So 3 out of 5 for creep. We tally that all up. We get a 3.7 out of 5 for Fear Street Part 2, 1978 on Netflix, which for those of you who watched the previous will notice that I gave Part 2 a higher score because I loved it. I have just an inborn love for camp-based slasher films. I used to be a huge Friday the 13th nerd. Nobody will ever convince me that Jason Takes Manhattan is not a masterpiece in cinema. So I may have scored this a little higher just due to that, but I get to do the scoring, so whatever.